Hey, Joe here. Today I wanted to walk through the recipe that Brian and Tricky Fleming put together about using the phase input of a sine wave to do some wave shaping, some sine distortion wave shaping. Kind of similar to the wavefolding that you would find on like the U-fold or the shapeshifter. So just kind of wanted to start it out very basic and just do this with the sine wave. So let's do that. I'm going to grab a sine oscillator and I'm going to turn its frequency as close to zero as I can get it. It doesn't quite go to zero right now anyway. I'm not sure if that's in the works, but I'm going to turn it all the way down to 0.027. And what I do is want to come in here and modulate the phase with something. And I'm just going to put another sine wave in here for the time being. And let's turn the frequency up on that to, let's just tune it to an A at 220. And as I start to bring up the gain on this phase, you can kind of watch what happens. So I'll bring it up slowly. And if you watched on the scope, we kind of start out with something very sine wave looking. As I start to turn it up more, the sine wave folds over and over on itself and begins to develop a lot more harmonics. So you've got some definite wave shaping going on there. Let's see, so just kind of show a couple more tricks that were mentioned here. Let's see, the first one being, we'll go back up here to the top of the chain. Since we're doing some wave shaping here, it was kind of recommended to put in the fixed high pass filter. And presumably set its frequency pretty low to just kind of block out, some of the DC content and other low frequency stuff that's generated. Cool. And let's see here. The other part of this recipe, Tricky Fleming provided was to, if you put an offset in here, where did you go, offset? So if we put this in here, we can kind of move the source waveform up and down, and this is kind of similar to like the symmetry control on, for example, I guess the U-fold. So let's hear what that sounds like when we start to offset that wave. So kind of subtle, but you can definitely hear a difference and definitely see the partials moving around there as you sweep around that offset control. All right, so that's just kind of the basics of it. That's what it looks like on the simplest of waveforms. So let's take a look at what this might sound like on some more harmonically rich, complex waveforms. All right, so coming into this mixer channel, I've got a sequence coming off of rings, and this is just in the standard red mode. So I'll let you hear what that sounds like. Just have a little bit of delay after it for some space. So that's what that sounds like, and the reason I put it inside of a mixer channel here is that so I can, you know, kind of leave one channel pure and mute it, and we're going to add a second mixer channel here to do some distortion on it, and then we can kind of A/B between the two and hear what they sound like. So, having said that, let me mute that mixer channel, and we'll come over here and put in a second mixer. And inside here, we'll add the sine wave. Roll the frequency down, and then we'll come in here into the phase, and right here we'll add that same source signal, which should be coming in on N1. And let me start the sequence again, and then we'll start to make some adjustments here. So I guess I'll add a little bit of my own spice to the recipe here. This is kind of, you know, from the guitar school of thought here. I've always heard and have found it to be true that if you have some kind of a distortion unit, which is essentially what we're doing here, some wave shaping distortion, you know, it's really good to have an equalizer both in front and after the distortion unit. Where could I get an equalization? Oh yeah, that's right, the ER-301 is like an EQ candy store. So I should be able to add that no problem. I'm going to come in here and put an EQ3 unit here, and I'll turn the volume up and just start to shape this a little bit more. So there you go. That's a brief tour of wavefolding using the phase input of a sine oscillator on the ER-301. Hope you enjoyed.